Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another Unsigned Sunday video, and as I always say in these videos, if you have not seen one before, it is exactly what it sounds like. I reserve Sunday videos for unsigned bands who have submitted their material to be considered for a video, and I go through the list, which is quite long. There is a lot of stuff that I don't get to, but if you're in an unsigned band and want to be added to the very long list that I'm working off of for Unsigned Sundays, you can send an email to rachelreacts@gmail.com. That email address will be in the description. Include in the title Unsigned Sunday and the music video, of course, along with any details I may need related to the release, that sort of thing. Yeah, and please only use that email address if you're in the band which is requesting. I have a long list, as I mentioned, and so for now we are keeping it the bands request the songs, unless that changes, in which I will let you know. But today we're going to be checking out a band I have listened to before. That band is ENOX, and they have put out an EP called Paradise this year. I'm going to be checking out the title track, and I heard Mortar Shell off of this release. We did it on live stream not too long ago, and I've heard Inferno as well, so I believe Fallout will be a track that I still need to listen to. I may have those backwards. It may be Fallout and Inferno that I heard and Mortar Shell that I still need to get to. But regardless, ENOX is a great band. They put out an album a couple years ago that put them onto the radar for me. It is phenomenal. My favorite track from them, it would be kind of hard to pick, but I'm going to make that decision after we listen to this track. So I will link all of their social media, promotional links, the music video or visualizer I'll be using in the reaction portion of this. All that will be in the description of this video. Other than that, I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it. Oh, screams. Oh. Ooh. Oh, those screams are from the chorus? Oh. ENOX, Paradise, let's discuss. These tracks off of Paradise, they have a different feel than Euphoria. It doesn't sound like the band changed sounds or anything like that. But more so what I mean is like when a band has multiple releases and you are able to hear a song and be like, okay, this belongs on Paradise, this belongs on Euphoria, that type of thing. That's definitely the case for me with ENOX. This EP feels like a step in, or more, not like a step in a different direction, because I think a lot of the elements that make up the sound I associate with this band, they are present 100% in this EP, front and center. I think the chorus on this track is probably one of my favorite things that they've done on this EP. This will likely be my favorite song because of that, and for other reasons. I think having a little bit of play with the whammy with some very heavy yet groovy moments in like the riff category. The vocalist just goes off, which is very common for this band. It's kind of listening through Euphoria for the first time. That was my introduction to this band. That was one of the things that stuck out to me, because you have tracks like Blame Shift and Stacker, which is kind of turned all the way up, which I feel like is a lot of what this EP is doing, like that heavier side to them. But the title track, you have different potential ways the band could go, and their vocalist is incredibly talented and kind of giving them some room to do different things. But this will be one of towards my favorite tracks from them. I really like the title track off the album and the two tracks I mentioned, Stacker being very high up there. But Blame Shift was the first track I ever heard from the band, and so that one has a little bit of like a different impression on me. I probably will run Euphoria this week now that I've heard this song. I really enjoy what the band has to offer because they bring a lot of energy, but I think in the way they did the chorus on this track, it's an example of how they're able to set themselves apart a little bit, because where some bands may do a chorus that kind of puts them into a certain category where there's a lot of divisiveness when it comes to choruses. I feel like, especially when you get on the line of like heavy and metalcore. There are some metalcore bands where you just expect like the sorry, clean chorus, and some people just hate that. I see comments all the time on YouTube like, just didn't have this whiny singing. So for those people, I think something like this will be more palatable 100%, because it has a little bit of a different approach to the chorus. The chorus has a ton of energy. The screams in the chorus, probably the first chorus, those screams that you get there, it's like the end of each line, I think that really stuck out to me. That's going to be one of the biggest draws to me for the song. But as I mentioned, it has a lot of groove to it. It has some aggression, some edge to it, and I think those things will be also partially my favorite. But really the chorus has that in it, but it's still really catchy to me. I think having that sort of impression, it's kind of like last year I had Red Dot Sight by To The Grave, which To The Grave does not sound like this at all, but I think when you look at the approach to the chorus, and that being a song that was in top 5 choruses of the year for me last year, for a similar reason, it's a bit of a different chorus than a lot of what ends up in that category for me at the end of the year, where some people hate a whiny, soaring chorus. I love that stuff. It works really well for me, depending on who it is, what it sounds like, of course. But a lot of times, the things that I see comments on, such as what I mentioned, it's stuff that I really like. So while that's not an issue for me, I still enjoy a chorus that has an approach like this, and it still manages to have that catchiness, but it's just represented in a much different way. So huge check for me. And there are also some extremely bassy moments fit in there too. With the shorter songs, sometimes you're not able to get it all, but you take what you can get. It didn't really feel like that was what we were doing here. They keep the energy going through all the way through the end of the track. I felt like for 3 minutes there were multiple points where I was like, and we're dropping again, which I do really enjoy. I think sometimes you don't really need like that atmospheric bridge. That a lot of what I listen to plays into that, and it works really well. It serves a great purpose, but I do sometimes hear a song where I'm like, I don't necessarily know that this really needed it. Like it doesn't, and this would be one of those tracks where like front to back the energy is just continuous, and that's gonna work to its advantage for me and my playlist listening at least. So I think otherwise, if I had to pick something else I would want to see with this track, I suppose because you get a little bit of like that whammy, there's a little bit of the spice when it comes to the guitars in this track right away from the first moment you hear any sort of guitars. There is like that aggression that I feel is brought vocally in the chorus and stuff. They match that instrumentally. And while there's nothing that I would pick out about this track that holds it back for me. I think something that would make it go even further up in my playlist and such would be kind of leaning into that wackiness with the guitar and having one of those just like jaw-dropping riffs that sort of live in your brain, one for the riff playlist, because while this is solid all the way through from the guitars add a lot to this for me and are a positive point. I think having that sort of moment that it builds to specifically riff-wise, and having one that just is like, leans into that sort of sound that you have, and even in bringing up the vocals in the chorus and stuff, I think it can even kind of be a parallel to that, and sort of driving the aggression in this track even further is having like, and I don't even have, obviously, I'm not a guitarist, I don't have a specific riff in mind, but a moment that it feels like, oh, that's the riff of the year playlist contender right there, based on the sounds that they already put out, the riffs that they have in this song already. I think that's something that would bring this track from a great track to something that I'm revisiting constantly, but this will still go into the playlist for me. I need to sit down and listen to all 4 tracks in order and see what my overall thoughts are, but I am really happy with this. I think coming out of a release like Euphoria, which I felt like was a very strong release from them and deserved more attention than what it got, it was something I found, and it was just last year that they released that as well. I found it last year. That is really when I got into the band, was before it released, when Blame Shift was a single. I think I maybe even found that. I'm not sure the exact time is confusing to me, especially in the past tense. I'm pretty sure I found Blame Shift in 2021. If it didn't come out in 2021 or before that, then I really don't know what my brain has done with my memory of this, but I would definitely encourage you to go in and check out that release, songs that I had mentioned already, the title track off of it, also the opening track, Radiance. It features Ricky Armelino, and he does a ton of stuff. I believe I've covered his side project on my channel before, Hawk, but if I haven't, it's just because, I definitely did do some Hawk on the channel. But anyway, off of Euphoria, Stacker, Blame Shift, Tragedy, those are all tracks I encourage you to check out. You can see some of the variety I'm talking about with their sound, with their vocalists, that kind of gives them that advantage of not really knowing what you're going to walk into with the new release. While I do feel like these 4 tracks, even though I'm pretty sure it's just the opening track I actually haven't heard, but I need to go back and check my stream document after this video. But the 3 tracks that I did hear, they very much stick with the sound that you get off of this song that we just checked out, the title track on the EP, which is also the closer, and I think that's a very strong sound for them. And releasing an EP just after you released an album last year, they are keeping things moving, keeping the momentum building. So I will of course keep my eye on what they'll do next, but we now have another EP for this year. Let me know what you thought in the comments. I will, like I mentioned before, link all of the band's social media, promotional links, the music. Brain totally forgot the music video for a second. The music video I used in the reaction portion of this, all of that will be in the description of this video. Make sure if you enjoyed this, go leave a comment on their initial upload on their YouTube channel. Let them know you enjoyed it, or whatever. It helps with the algorithm to leave a like and a comment for the band. Other than that, you can also find my link tree in the description. That will have my Patreon, my Twitch channel, the Discord server invite link. Any link you may need related to my YouTube channel should be in that link tree. On my Patreon, I offer many different things. Right now, we are in the middle of doing a bunch of voting to get prepared for what will be on our 2023 Patreon album of the year list, EP of the year list, riffs, chorus, breakdowns, that sort of stuff. I'm posting polls. Sometimes it'll be a chunk of every day, sometimes it's every few days, but we are getting things sorted, so come December, I have a good idea of what the people on Patreon think so far and what to kind of categorize for the stuff we'll be doing at the very end of the year on Patreon. I also offer playlists that I update monthly for Tier 3 based on what that person tells me they want the 4 fans up to be, and if there's anything they really don't like that's kind of related to what I'll be putting in the playlist, I also get that information so I can curate it to their taste as best as possible. Update them monthly with about 20 to 25 songs each time. I do additional videos on there. Everything that I do is listed in the tiers. If you want to check it out, that will be there. Twitch is where I do all of my live streaming. So my request streams that I do every Tuesday, unless I have something going on in Move It, I have some additional streams I'll be doing for end of the year. They're all music related, and then going into 2024, I'm planning on keeping some themed non-request style streams going on Twitch as well. So if you want to be notified when I go live, feel free to give that Twitch in the link tree a follow. And also the Discord server is where the community is based for my YouTube channel. We've got a lot of wonderful people in there talking about music related stuff and stuff completely unrelated to music. So if you want to come join and hang with a bunch of music lovers, please feel free to join at that link in the link tree. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.